But before we wrap this up, I want to highlight the row in pink at the top. My estimate for what is the current float of Mullen that we're going to see in the next filing that drops, and I'll update you when it comes. I don't think it's 151. I don't think it's 164. I don't think it's 170. I think you're going to see the next filing show that the outstanding shares is around 249 million shares of Mullen common stock out there trading right now, and that is why the price is going down. Hey guys, Tony Denaro here. Welcome back. About a month ago when I made my last update and predictions on what was going to happen with Mullen, I promised you that I would be back when the next filing dropped. And I made some certain predictions back in May that got a lot of people upset because I was telling you that there was going to be dilution, that there was actually dilution ongoing. We got some updates today, 2 of them, and I want to just walk you through them real quick and invite you to subscribe to the channel. I'm not here to give you hopium or clickbait. I'm not here to bash the company either. I'm just here to give you the facts. So welcome if this is your first time here, and let's go through these filings real quick and talk about then what is up next for Mullen. Mullen is trading down about 8% today on the news we're just about to go over. And before we get started, I just want to point out the shares outstanding and the free float currently being reported. 164 million on the free float, 172 million on the shares outstanding. Those numbers will be updated in the next couple days based on today's news. The other thing that I mentioned back in May is that the shorts are not scared in this play, and you may have seen what looks like the short interest in terms of percentage going up, but it's because everybody thought that the outstanding shares was 170 million, and now we know it's 218 million. We're going to talk about that in just a second. So you should expect to see all of the sources that you use to report short interest are going to reflect a decrease in the percentage of shares short as these websites get their updates on the outstanding shares data. And this might be a good time to add in that gentle reminder that when you are speculating in companies that have no revenue or negative revenue, that you should always expect dilution or debt being added to the company's balance sheet, because these companies must raise money. That's part of the game, guys, and it is important to understand that, and it's important to understand the financial statements, the fundamentals of the company. For more details on that, tune into my channel. That is what we specialize in here. Reading the financial statements and understanding their long-term impact versus trying to predict what's going to happen next on a chart through TA. Now, I do love me some TA, and we do use it here on the channel, but it is more important, in my opinion, to understand the fundamentals, especially if you're holding something for more than a couple days or weeks. So the 2 updates today that we're going to talk about, and we're going to keep it really brief so I can respect your time. We're going to go through it at a very high level, are the 8K and the 424B7. Let's talk about the 8K first. When I was talking back in May about the float being increased unbeknownst to investors, it was either because of Series D convertibles being converted and or David Michery selling additional shares. But we also had these other Series D coming up to be dealt with in June, and that is what this material definitive agreement, this 8K, is about today. It says in pink that in lieu of the issuance and delivery by the company of 27 million shares of Series D convertible preferred stock, Mullen is going to issue them 19.5 million shares of common stock, and in addition, some pre-funded warrants exercisable for another 8 million shares of common stock, and warrants in green here, warrants issued exercisable for another 51 million shares of common stock with an exercise price of 72.5 cents per share. Now, I do want to add the caveat here that in the original securities purchase agreement, there was an option to decrease the exercise price of warrants as new dilution occurs. I couldn't find exactly some wording that tells me that that is the case with these, the exercise price of 72 cents. But I think I'm going to tell you that more than likely, if this falls under the previous securities purchase agreement, it is very likely that they have the ability to drop that exercise price. So that is something to dig into further, and maybe we can find out an answer. The 8K did not disclose the updated share count. For that, we need to move over to the 424B7 that was also filed today. Let's do that and talk about what is in here. The very first thing that I want to point out is highlighted in yellow to you, an update from Mullen on the outstanding common stock. It is as of June 1st, 218 million shares. You will start seeing that number make it into the brokers and the data sites that you are looking at, so expect that update in the next couple days. The dilution that went on over the past 30 days and the upcoming additional dilution that is headed your way is because the company needs cash to get into production these vehicles that they are hoping to do in July and August of 2023. I don't care what David Mishery tweets out. I can look at the financial statements and know that they have a need for additional cash. That is why this is happening. And there are a lot of people just relentlessly pumping Mullen on YouTube and Twitter and different social media sites, seemingly oblivious to the dilution breadcrumbs that were in the filings. And why were those dilution breadcrumbs critical for you to know a month ago? Because you're speculating in a company that has absolutely no revenue. And when you mix in a company with a weak income statement like that, with additional dilution, and investors can't see a way out of the hole, it's typically not going to end up very well in the short term. And so for those of you that got value out of the video I did a month ago, I hope that helped you avoid some of this price rundown. The main thing that Mullen needs to do is get some revenue coming in so that they can stop having this massive need for cash. So to wrap up the talk on the 424B7, what do we have here? An additional 242 million shares highlighted at the top in yellow. And then down in blue, it goes on to say that it relates to the resale by investors of common stock, pre-funded warrants, and warrants. You can see here down further in the document the names of the different entities that are going to be covered by this. And here in the second column, the exact quantity each one of them will be able to sell of the common stock. And if you add all of these up, that adds up to this 242 million. Now that we know that the outstanding shares has been updated to 218 million, and we have the 424B7 with an additional 242 million, that brings the potential dilution on Mullen up to somewhere around 460 million shares. And I think that you can expect that those will be sold over the coming weeks and months into the market. So just have a heads up that that is coming. Now, if it turns out that I made a mistake and it's not over 400 million potential dilution, I'll come back in and edit this video and clip this part out. I'm actually waiting for dilutiontracker.com to update their site and show us what they are interpreting these forms as. At any rate, I wanted to get this video out to let you know what is going on with Mullen, what's been going on the past 30 days. But now for Mullen to go up, you want to know what is needed, what is necessary for Mullen price to go up. Good news, obviously, be it from Lawrence Harge, Saudi Arabia, getting vehicles in production. Any of those could be enough to get the price to go up a little bit. I want you to be careful if you see that happening, because now you know that this registration statement is out there. And why do they do that? They do that before good news, so that as you're pushing the price up, they are selling into it. It's going to serve as a manner of capping the price. And so I expect probably some good news coming up, and they're going to use that good news to unload more shares onto retail. I am Tony Denaro. I want to thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next video.